Good day, good people. How are you from where you're watching us from across the globe? It's another day, it's another moment, it's another opportunity for us to engage in our authentic conversations. My name is Susan Kibe Sulu. I am born again. I love Jesus. I am a product of grace. And I normally say that Sue is this girl that God has just bestowed his mercies upon. I mean, I have experienced the tender mercies of God. And I am so honored to come to you again today with an amazing engagement that has come from you, my viewers. So I am grateful for your feedback, for your engagements, for your support. Thank you so much for every subscription, every sharing of the video, every engagement. As you watch these videos, as you share with a friend, as a life is impacted, that is my joy. And so Susan Kibe is the author of Gracefully Broken. It's a book that I have authored on the journey of my life as a testimony of how God has raised me to where I am and even where I'm going. And I'm also working on a second copy, and I think you guys will be among the first people to know when we are ready, so we are almost there. And one amazing thing about Gracefully Broken is that probably by the end of this month we'll be on Amazon. I have kept promising Amazon. We are coming. So we are on Amazon at the end of this month and towards early November. Sue Kibe is also the founder of Claim Your Crown, which is a company that runs mentorship programs, mentoring teenage girls in schools, mentoring moms parenting alone, who I call silver moms, and also mentoring individuals who are in the journey of life and trying to find their identity, work in self-awareness, just be able to understand, who am I? Why do I operate the way I do? So that is what we do every day. And so today I want to engage us on an amazing topic called abandonment anxiety. I don't know what comes to mind when you hear that, but I want to thank you because I said this is an engagement that has come from feedback from you, my viewer. And so abandonment anxiety, that is where we are today. And allow me to use my notes today so that my thoughts are together. I feel like I have so much to say, but I need to contain myself even because of time. So abandonment anxiety is I could say a trauma or a form of worry that comes upon someone when they feel like people close to them are leaving. You feel like relationships are ending. You feel like people who are close to you are leaving you. Even when it's not happening, you always have this persuasive worry of things that people are leaving you, relationships are going to break, somebody that comes into your life is about to leave. And most times it comes from probably early attachments to, maybe like caregivers, or probably having lost close relatives, loved ones early in life, people that you are very attached to. That loss, if it is not dealt with, it grows as a trauma. Another thing that can cause abandonment anxiety is loss of relationships. A relationship you had given yourself into and then you did not see it ending. So when it ends, it leaves you in a space where you don't understand yourself. It leaves you in a space where you feel insecure. All of a sudden you are very insecure. And what that does is that it comes as a danger because it makes you quickly attach, sometimes even to other relationships, apparently even where people are unavailable. I don't know if you people have heard about this thing nowadays called ghosting. Sometimes when somebody is ghosting someone, okay, one, they can have an issue, Another way is sometimes you are too clingy. You feel like you want to be with this person all the time. I feel like I want to be in your space all the time. And now sometimes people just give you a blackout. Sometimes ghosting happens because you are too much into somebody's life. But the reason why you're too much, even you may not understand. Because one of the things that happens with abandonment anxiety is a lot of insecurity that comes upon you, a lot of worry, a lot of, you're aiming to please. You become a people pleaser because you will do anything so that I don't lose this relationship. Abandonment anxiety will also make you to stay in very abusive and unhealthy relationships. Reason being, I do not want it to end. And I feel like, I can tolerate this. I feel like I can cope with this. I pray that this person will change. I can cope with them. Meanwhile, you keep losing yourself, you keep getting hurt, you keep you know, like even eroding every emotional intimacy you can get, and that makes you very evasive even to be emotionally intimate with anybody. You feel like when somebody comes, you're suspecting everybody, you know. So when we're around you, we walk on eggshells, you know, because you feel like this person is also going to hurt me. So there's a lot of insecurity. And the other thing is you're hypersensitive to criticism. By the time somebody starts to criticize you, you feel like I cannot take it, you know, because I feel like wherever I am, I want to really guard this place. I want to, you know, keep this relationship. I want to take care of this space. And so you'll be very allergic, if I can use that word, to criticism, because you feel like you have given your all. And then you see what happens when you become a people pleaser. It wears you out, because I will always be the one giving. You giving too much in a relationship. You're always the one stepping up. You're always the one putting in the weight. You're always the one carrying the weight, you know, but almost bearing every burden. I don't know if you've been in an engagement or a relationship where it seems like you're the only one who makes a mistake. You know, you're always the only one who is apologizing. You know, you I've been there. You know, I've been there in my life when I was in the counterfeit marriage, which was emotionally abusive, and I was always the one apologizing. You know, like we are like now we are in October. I would be apologizing for mistakes almost for next year January. You know, just in case I make a mistake, let me apologize now. It's like I'm depositing apologies. And the reason why you do that is because you have lost yourself so much in any relationship until you have no value of yourself anymore. So somebody that is going through abandonment anxiety will always aim to please. You become a people pleaser. You want to be doing the right things all the time until you're bending your back so much until even you're hurt where you need, but you can't even realize you're getting hurt. Because I don't want this person to leave. I don't want to lose this relationship. You know, I don't want these people to move away from me. And then you also have this, the reason why I call it a trauma is because probably I have lost a loved one in a particular month, and then in another month probably you lost somebody, they passed on, and then in another month probably a relationship breaks, apparently maybe the same month. In another year, probably the same month, somebody that was close to you moves out of town, and they are now living in a different town. It gets to you like in the month of September, every August, you know, something bad happens. And so when that month starts, I'm always edgy. I'm always feeling like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen this August. No, I don't know who is going next. Or that is why it is a trauma, and that is why you need help. Because we said when we began that it is a worry, it is a feeling of anxiety, a feeling of fear that comes out of loss, that you may be rejected, or loved ones will leave you, or a relationship will break. So you see, it's a worry. It doesn't have to happen, but you see, because something happened once does not mean that it will always happen that way. Because also what that does, and especially when it comes to relationships, is that even the people who try to approach you, by the time they are coming, you have already judged this person. Like if they even do anything that probably you saw before, or they talk in a certain way, you start seeing even this one is leaving. And what that does is, on top of ghosting, is that even people will keep off. You know, will feel like, you know what, I don't want to get into this. They feel like, I don't want to be in your space, you know, because there's a lot of mistrust as well. And anytime you are operating with somebody who you cannot trust, you know, trust is very expensive. So if every time there's mistrust, and I feel like I cannot trust you, that means the relationship will be very unhealthy, because you can never take anything I say seriously, or you will never believe what I say. And anytime somebody does not believe what you say, I will keep explaining myself. I have to keep explaining myself. You know, by the time I'm over explaining, you know, I will start second guessing myself. What does that do to me? I lose my confidence. All of a sudden, you have very low self-esteem, because you keep second-guessing yourself. Because every time I present a point, I have to explain it, you know, go to Google, go to all the, you know, search dictionaries, you know, to all the search engines to be able to like give way to what I am saying. Anytime trust is lost, that means that you will have to work very hard for you to even come out as confident or to be able to express yourself in a way that people can receive you. And when confidence is lost, then you lose, your esteem is very low, you operate on low self-esteem, you sabotage yourself. Self-sabotage also checks in. That means you will not build healthy relationships because nobody wants to be around you, nobody wants to be your friend, nobody wants to be in a relationship with you because I cannot trust you. You know, I feel like anything I say, I have to explain myself until I have over-explained. You know, I lose myself in the explanation. And then once self-esteem is lost, trust is lost. The other thing that will creep in is that anybody that comes around me, I will want to hold on to everyone. I will want to be very controlling. So again, you become controlling even without your knowledge, you know. But you control everyone that comes. You control how they speak. You control how they engage with you. You control, like, you almost control my conversation, you almost control my thoughts, and of course nobody again will want to be in your space. So anxiety abandonment is something that will come to even distract what you already have. That means you cannot build anything. You cannot build a relationship. You cannot even build healthy friendships, even just normal friendship with friends. You cannot, because nobody will be able to handle your space, because the anxiety will also start creeping into their lives, because anything negativity is contagious. So if when we are around you, we feel like we have to keep explaining our points, or why we think this way, why we are talking like this, anything you say, you are also getting it out of context because trust is missing, then that will mean that you cannot have any healthy relationships. Nobody will want to be around you. Then that sets you in a very lonely place. And that loneliness now will also drive you like to also quickly attach to whoever comes. And that will lead you probably into an even deeper trap, because you don't take time to gauge who is this person. What are they like? You know, you don't even have the strength, you know, you don't have the capacity, because if you see something that you don't like, then you feel this relationship is ending. That means you will always be on the edge, you know, so you can't build anything healthy. You cannot have a healthy relationship or something that has a strong foundation, because you're either too clingy and people are uncomfortable, or I feel like now I am controlling this person and nobody wants to be controlled, and especially adults, you know. And also other times you feel like you easily attach. Sometimes you attach even to partners that are unavailable. You see, sometimes somebody may just be your friend, or maybe have approached you as a friend, but you take it like it's a relationship just because I said hi, you know. And sometimes, especially like ladies, there are words we use very casually. Like I'll tell somebody, hi dear, how are you? And the dear is just dear. There is nothing beyond the dear, you know. But if you take that as now, hi dear, probably like I am getting close, I want a close relationship with you, you know, because before somebody asks you out, you're actually not going out with them, and we should not assume. So when you are going through abandonment anxiety, you operate in a space that you quickly attach because you don't want to be alone. That space of being alone and working on yourself and working on who you are and dealing with things around you, you feel like all of a sudden you don't want to be there. And so that can lead you into traps that will spiral into even emotional abusive relationships, even physical abuse, because by the time you are operating in mistrust, you are operating in you always want attention. That means that even the person who comes into your space might feel suffocated, because this control can also lead into jealousy. I feel like I don't want you to go anywhere, you know, wherever you are, I want to be with you, you know. I mean, even when people get into a relationship, even marriage, there's always space for being with your friends. Like now, I cannot be following my husband everywhere. Gosh, I cannot be in the boys' things, you know. And if he wants to hang out with his fellow men friends, or probably they say this is just a boys' hangout, I will not be found there just because I don't want to be alone. No. He also does not follow me when I'm going out with my girls. My husband will not come and wait for me outside the door when I'm having chama, because we are allow each other to operate in your spaces and be comfortable in your spaces with the people around you. But When somebody is going through abandonment anxiety, we have said that you have problems trusting people. Trust issues are, you know, like one of the things that will come out very strongly. And then once you are hypersensitive to criticism, that means nobody can tell you anything. You cannot be corrected. You don't want to even face things, like you are seeing things are not going well, but I don't want to face it because I don't want to lose this relationship. So what that does is that you end up even in very unhealthy spaces. You end up with people who do not value you. You end up with people who take advantage of you. You end up with people who are always taking until there's nothing more to be taken from you. And so once you identify where you are at, if you feel like in the space where I am, I cannot trust anybody. I find it very difficult to trust anybody. I find it like I always want to please people. I'm a people pleaser. That means there's something you are lacking yourself, because people pleasing will also really drain you. You can only please somebody so much, you know. And then probably if that one ends, you have to work very hard to please another person. So you will lose yourself. You will lose even the fun. And you can't enjoy any relationship because you feel like people are taking advantage of you. And the reason why you feel that people are taking advantage is because you're the one who is giving of yourself extra. And so you have to check out for people pleasing. Insecurity. Insecurity is key as well, because if you feel like, no, I don't want my friend to be in another place, or when people leave you, even when they hang out with other friends, you feel like they're not coming back. I mean, everybody will feel like you are suffocating. They would not want to be in your space. So for you to deal with that, you also have to really reassure yourself. Keep reassuring yourself that you deserve good relationships, that you deserve to make good friends, that you deserve to be happy, and that you can be happy as you are. One of the things that when I'm walking the journey of emotional wellness or self-awareness with my clients, and among the people who probably say they cannot do anything for themselves, I normally give them a challenge. You know, once in a while, go out, you know, on your own. Go buy ice cream, sit, enjoy the ice cream. What that does is that it helps you to be in touch with yourself. Am I saying that you shouldn't relate? No. But I'm saying once in a while, be on the forefront to even celebrate yourself, to treat yourself. Self-love will not be self-love if you have to wait for someone to come and do it for you. Meanwhile, we don't know you need self-love, you know. As we are all very busy with our own activities. And so anytime you're operating in that level of, you cannot take criticism, you know, insecurity, problems with trust issues, you cannot trust anybody, you have fear of rejection, you are desperate for attention. So that means you want all of us to, the spotlight is always on you. And it does not always work like that. The spotlight will be on you, yes, but it is a season. So anytime you are desperate for attention, so it is always about you. You all want us to be revolving around you. People around you will get tired. And that is why you need to also practice individuality. Like get time out, you know, get time to be you. You know, be in your space. Even if it is not ice cream, it could be taking a nap. Please take a nap. You know, for the ladies, go make your nails. You know, go have a facial. Just go do something on your own. It doesn't have to be with someone. And you have to get out of that thing of feeling like I have to do things with people, because if it goes for so long, you may need to seek professional help. Remember what we said in the beginning, that abandonment anxiety comes up even as a trauma that sometimes started at childhood, probably because of even very early attachment, even attachment with caregivers. You know, if somebody is probably have only known one caregiver for probably like 10 years of your life as you're growing up, that is what you revolved your life around. And so when that person leaves, it becomes very hard for you to receive somebody else in your space. And that also happens in the relationships that we find ourselves in. Sometimes you find it so hard to move on because you are very attached to a relationship that ended. And so you end up carrying a lot of baggage. You end up carrying a lot of weight such that you cannot accommodate anybody else in your space. And so as we continue to work on ourselves, you have to also make sure that you deal with something called reluctance to commit. Sometimes when somebody is going through abandonment anxiety, they struggle to commit because I'm thinking I will commit and then this person leaves me. Meanwhile, this person that has come is not like the one who left. So probably this is the one you have waited for all along and they're looking for commitment, but you're not able to commit because you have not dealt with where you're coming from. You have not dealt with that fear, that worry, and the pain that probably the other person caused. So you have to be able to check on the reluctance to commit, because if you do not commit, that means you cannot build any healthy relationships, and you cannot be able to build relationships that will last, because any relationship that will last will require commitment, be it a business relationship, a social relationship, even a marital relationship. It needs commitment. So you cannot build anything that will last without commitment. But you see, the reason why we fear to commit is because of that fear of rejection. We fear that these people will leave. We fear that this one will fail just like the other one. We fear that whatever happened, you know, that's little those trust issues. I cannot trust this person. I may commit, and then what happens? And that is why I said it is a worry that comes into our lives because of something that we have gone through, because of a loss that we experienced, because of a rejection that happened, but because we did not deal with it. Now it comes up as a trauma that will need you to seek help. And if it becomes excess, you need professional help. Yeah, you need to sit down with somebody so they can be able to trace back and see, where did this start? What happened to you? Because also you will end up with anxiety issues, that anything that you go through in life later, even it maybe something happened to you as a child, and even in your adult years, you get triggered by things that come up because you did not deal with that trauma of abandonment. Or probably it's a baby that was abandoned by a help, you know, and one day they just left you and you never saw them again, you know, and so that makes you feel like everybody that comes will leave. So you need a lot of reassurance. So what do we do with people that are going through abandonment anxiety? One thing is to reassure them. One thing is to make them to be compassionate on themselves, like show yourself compassion. By the way, for crying out loud, you can only do so much. Extend grace to yourself, that there is nothing I did for that relationship to end. There is nothing I did, you know, that could have maybe made even that person to stay. So I extend grace to yourself. If it is very excess, seek professional help. You know, sometimes you need somebody else to listen to your story and help you put the dots together. The other thing is also to acknowledge your feelings. Accept that, by the way, I feel anxious, I am scared. Once you acknowledge your feelings, you are able to face whatever feeling. Is it fear? Is it rejection? Is it worry? Is it insecurity? Is it that clinginess? You feel like I always want to attach, because that will lead you to attach even to things that are not there. You know, you may be in a hot air kind of relationship if you're not careful. And so abandonment anxiety is something that can be dealt with once we identify that there is a problem, once we identify that this worry I have, this fear is not normal, and once we identify that it is shortchanging us and sabotaging our relationships. Once you have identified that, you acknowledge there's a problem, you seek professional help, and also practice self-compassion. You know, be kind to yourself. Every time you keep feeling like, probably if I did this, they would not have left. If I did this, they would have stayed. That is what even makes people to stay in unhealthy and abusive relationships, because of fear of loss. And sometimes that loss is your making. That loss could be your advantage. You know, you will have pain to deal with, yes, but after the pain, you will be able to pick up yourself together and build again on a healthy, on a positive, and a strong foundation of confidence, of self-awareness and identity, that you're not building your identity on somebody. Because if you do not deal on those matters, you'll find that you also jump very quickly from one relationship to the other just to avoid this space. And that is why we said also embrace individuality, so that you can be able to work on yourself, deal with yourself, love on you, take care of yourself, and know that there is nothing you could have done better. You know, if you gave it your best, that was your best. And of course, if there's something you could have done better, work on yourself. But you can only work on yourself when you are in this space. But if you avoid this space of being an individual, you always want to be in a relationship, you always want to be in another space. Even before healing, you will be transferring one problem from here to the next, and then you will not be able to commit fully and build a healthy relationship. And then the other thing that as a wind up is, anytime you're feeling empty and you're feeling lost, find out what is it that can fill my space. Because the feeling of emptiness, feeling lost, that means you have lost yourself. And the reason why we lose ourselves, especially in unhealthy relationships, is because of being people pleasers. If I'm always aiming to please, that means I'm only doing what pleases you. I forget myself completely. And so anytime you feel the feeling of emptiness, you feel lost, you feel like there is nothing, you have no taste for anything, it is time to pull back and have a, take a rain check and see what needs to change. Where am I at this moment? What am I going through? What am I feeling? What are my fears? What is my anxiety at this point? Once you address it, then you'll be able to find a solution, so that even as you build on to the next either relationship or next business engagement, I am already healed and I'm whole. Because if you don't deal with the feeling of emptiness, you will feel it with anything. You will feel it with abuse. You will feel it with, people that take advantage of you. You will feel it with people that keep degrading you, talking you down, just because I don't want to be alone, just because I don't want to deal with myself. So a feeling of emptiness and a feeling of loss, feeling lost, is something that is already a very huge sign that is telling you need to pull back and check on what you need to work on. So I believe that you have been able to get some points and to know that abandonment anxiety is not a death sentence, and it does not mean that your life has to end there. I mean, you can pick yourself up, you can be able to seek professional help, and the best thing that you can do to yourself, once you have acknowledged that this is the feeling, this is what I am feeling, and accept there's a problem, now extend compassion, practice a lot of self-love and self-care, heal fast, be whole, so that you can be able to extend the warmth and the healthy relationship to somebody else. So until next time, I look forward to more and more engagement with you. Once again, thank you very much even for suggesting this topic. Thank you for always engaging with us, giving us feedback. That is what also makes us grow. And so until next time, I look forward to more engagements and to your comments and to your feedback, even more questions. Did this answer you? Did it meet your need? If it did not answer you, please give us feedback so that we know what we can do better next time. So God bless you, and keep doing what you're doing, and we pray that this keeps making impact in your life, and make sure you subscribe, share this video with somebody so that we can keep growing and making impact. God bless you. Bye bye.